Hello, welcome to Unrestricted View Film Festival. My name's James Wren, I'm the festival director, and I'm joined today by Flavia Casa, the director of and writer of Beautiful in the Morning, which is going to be screened on Saturday, the 18th of July. And hey, Flavia, how you doing?
Hi, James. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. How's
Thank you so much for including our film in your wonderful festival.
Oh, not at all. So thanks for letting us. Um, how are you finding lockdown? Is it okay?
I think for a lot of creatives, besides the practical issues of work taking different forms, I think that I've tried to make the most of it in terms of writing or projects that have been kind of on the back burner because of daily life, and so it's given me the time to work on projects that have been pending. So that is definitely an upside of lockdown. But obviously it's not with the most positive of it's not the most positive situation overall. So the creative work is nice, but definitely looking forward to the whole world, I guess, getting better and reopening.
Yes, no, absolutely. Um, Beautiful in the Morning, tell us where the idea came from.
Um, the idea, well, so it's a story, it's a coming of age story, mostly about a woman who reconnects with other women in her family and has a hard time navigating the place that she's from. And my mom's Turkish, my dad's Italian. I grew up in New York. I was born in Paris. I live in London now. So I've had a lot of moving around in my childhood. And for me, the idea of home and stability and where you're from has always been this kind of elusive notion. And so I wanted to explore a character who struggles with that, as well as her personal identity and her personal uh, first relationships, and how that all kind of culminates in her story. So it's a coming of age story, but also seen through the lens of other generations and how their perspective on her coming of age story affects her as well. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I thought it was very well cast as well. I mean,
Thank you. Casting was the absolute longest part of the process because, I think family dynamics is something very challenging to achieve. Yeah.
yeah, no, that was great. So, I mean, were these? Did you know many people on the cast and crew beforehand, or was that just brought? Did everyone for this project?
I didn't, it's funny because as a New Yorker, I went to NYU film school, and I had a whole network of filmmakers and actors and everyone that I knew. But being over here in the UK, and making my film, it just worked out timing wise that my film was ready to be made when it was. And so I jumped on the opportunity, but also had to rely a lot on my intuition. Oh, sorry about that. And no, I didn't know. It was mostly interviews, and that's why the casting took a really long time, because I wanted to spend a lot of time with the actors before offering them the role, and with the crew. It was just kind of intuition based, but I couldn't have asked for a better team, to be honest. So that was amazing.
So, I mean, because you're also the producer of the film. Um, I mean,
Yeah.
was it really just a one-man band when it started out? Were you just on?
When it started out, it was a little bit. I had different producers for different parts of the process in the development writing phase. I had a producer who produced Girl with a Pearl Earring, and she was a really good mentor in terms of getting the script to a good place. Then I had other producers in pre-production helping me with these things: casting, financing, etc., locations. And then during the shoot was the only time that I didn't have a producer. weirdly enough. But it was a very, very small set. And so that's why it kind of made it easier to streamline that process. And then I have a producer for the whole post-production, defining the story, getting the edit where it needs to be, and through the whole festival and distribution journey. So I've collaborated with a lot of people, but yes, it's my baby.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've done I guess I've done most of the work in terms of getting it, to the point where it is now.
So you were talking there about locations. Whereabouts was it shot?
It actually, I hope you wouldn't have noticed, but it was actually shot in my flat. Yeah, well, I had a pretty nice flat at the time, but it was, I basically, my flatmates were gone, and so we had this relatively large apartment in Hampstead. We shot in Hampstead Heath, most of it, and in Kent in Botany Bay. Right. But we also had the exteriors of the house is a totally other house. So we did a lot of work in terms of the geography of the rooms, and what would be facing which direction, what exteriors do we need to do to match the interiors of the house, and also things like, if the car's driving downhill in Hampstead, that's going to be like them going to the beach. And so when we're at the beach, we have a shot of uphill. So we kind of worked a lot on the architecture of the places so that they can seamlessly look to be one place.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. I never thought that was completely separate locations. That's fantastic.
Oh, really? Thank you. Yeah. Well, you might have noticed some Hampstead. I think the people who know Hampstead probably can pick up some Hampstead related things, but yeah.
No, but yeah, no, well done on that. So you're moving around all these different locations, and how long was the shoot? How long did it take to?
Not long. It was in total 21 days.
Okay.
So it wasn't too long, and we shot some the swimming scenes, the ponds, the pond scene, and the beach scenes. We shot that later. Most of the production was in April, and then we shot those bits in July. Although it made absolutely no difference because the weather just happened to be just as cold as it was in April. But at least we tried to make it better for the cast.
Well, fantastic. And what's next? What's the next project for you?
The next project I'm developing, through some screenings of Beautiful in the Morning, I got a little bit of development money to write a new feature, and so I'm developing that, and yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. But that's the main next step.
Fantastic. Yeah. So something, well, obviously depending on when we're allowed out, but something you'd hope to shoot next year, maybe, or?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm not as I don't feel like I need to put a timeline on it, because projects, it's really about, I think, like, as a director, one thing that worked out for me for the first film was that I personally was ready, and I think that it really helped getting the momentum and just having a good time. And I think that it's important that elements organically come together. And for this next one, again, the casting is very important. And so those are the kind of things I don't want to rush, and I don't want to compromise on. So I would obviously love to shoot as soon as possible, but the story will dictate when that will be.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I'm just going to ask you three questions now that everyone hates being asked.
Okay.
Okay, so first one, who is your favorite director?
Oh my God, in my head I was like, he's gonna ask me who's my favorite director, and I'm gonna hate this. That is so funny. And it's crazy how I still don't have a good answer for that. It's terrible. I guess off the top of my head, I'm gonna say a director I like. I wouldn't say he's my favorite director, but I really like Richard Linklater. The whole Boyhood was amazing, but the Before Sunrise trilogy, and the fact that it's the same idea of like taking your time with stories and kind of revisiting them and them defining themselves as time goes by. I think that's something that's really amazing. So I would say him. But in terms of, I guess, where I take more inspiration in terms of writing and character dynamics, I really watch a lot of Noah Baumbach movies, and I like the kind of dark comedy within the drama that happens there. So yeah.
Fantastic. All right. The next one would be then, if you could work with any actor or actress, who would they be?
Oh my God. That is tough. If I could work with any actor or actress, I mean, it's really so dependent on the project. But I guess I would say the first one that comes to my head maybe would be Kristen Scott Thomas, I guess. I don't know if she's, for the record, the first one that I really would choose, but I've watched a lot of her films, and I think that this very classy and deep performances that would be amazing to explore for sure.
And final one, what's your favorite film?
Oh my God. Okay, my favorite film is, and this is super not at all, again, any of the things I would necessarily make, but There Will Be Blood.
Oh yeah.
Weirdly enough. I know, very weird choice. But I saw that film. I've never done this with any other film before. Never had the urge, but I've seen that film like 5 times in the cinema. Like it blew my mind. And I think it was like, I was, 17 or whatever, just discovering like, oh, maybe, films, directing. It was something that I was starting to think about. And at that time, that film was screening. And that's, I think, the film that really nailed it for me, where I was like, I love this. I love everything about this. So that film at least is the most inspirational in terms of me being a filmmaker, I guess, and going for it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
No problem.
As I said, you can see Beautiful in the Morning on Saturday, the 18th of July, and tickets are available at unrestrictedview.co.uk. Now, straight after this, we've got a trailer from our sponsors for their fantastic TV series, Agatha Raisin. But for now, we'd like to say cheerio and thanks very much to Flavia. And
thank you so much, James. And thank you to all the viewers. Okay, bye.
James Schmains, to get that down your neck and move on.
Come on, let's party.
That's not a pig, that's a human torso.
Someone needs to check out that pair of knives.
You're good, Mrs. Raisin. You're hired.
We're going to be watching you.
Mark my words. It's all about to bounce down here.
I think it was a statement.
Someone really does want you to back off.
What in God's hell's name was that?
You have got to be kidding me.